All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a huge question. How did art go from trying to be a perfect photograph of reality to, well, something completely different? We're going to trace that whole story at lightning speed, hitting just a few key revolutionary moments. Let's get into it. Yeah, our mission today is to take you on what's been called a fast-paced ride through iconic art movements. So think of this as a time-traveling roller coaster. We're only stopping at the points where everything changed. So yeah, you're going to want to buckle up. But you might be wondering, is that even possible? Can you really wrap your head around centuries of creative genius in just a few minutes? You know what? I think we can. The trick is to stop looking at every single painting and start looking for the big ideas, the moments that completely changed the game. So, let's find out. Okay, our first stop on this ride takes us way back to a time when art had a very clear, very strict set of rules. This was the era of the old masters, and they were all driven by one single-minded goal, the absolute quest for reality. We're landing in the 15th century, right smack in the middle of the Renaissance. This 200-year period, from about 1400 to 1600, basically wrote the rulebook for Western art for hundreds and hundreds of years. So the word Renaissance literally means rebirth. And for these artists, it was all about rebirthing the ideals of ancient Greece and Rome. Their mission? It was almost scientific. Use math, use observation, use anatomy, use whatever it takes to create a perfect, flawless, totally convincing illusion of our 3D world, but on a flat canvas. And if you had to boil that entire, incredible, world-changing mission down to just one single word, it would be this one: perspective. Linear perspective was the breakthrough tech of its day. It was this amazing new tool that let artists create a believable illusion of depth. It was the rule book for how to paint reality. Okay, so this is absolutely crucial. Renaissance artists painted what they knew, a perfect, stable, mathematically correct reality that never changes. But what happens when that goal gets thrown out the window? What happens when artists decide, I'm not going to paint what I know, I'm going to paint what I see, right now in this one fleeting, blurry moment? Well, that's when everything changes. And that catapults us to our next stop. This was a true revolution. I'm not just talking about a new style. This was a totally new way of seeing. This was the revolution of sight. Let's rocket forward about 400 years. We're in late 19th century Paris, and a group of young, rebellious artists are about to tear up that old Renaissance rulebook. Welcome to the age of Impressionism. And right here, you see a complete flip in the mission of art. The Impressionists were not trying to paint that perfect, timeless window onto the world. No way. They wanted to capture something way more personal, way more immediate, the sensory feeling of a moment. You know, the way light sparkles on water, or the blur of a moving crowd, or that hazy look of a city at sunset. So if the Renaissance was all about perspective, then Impressionism was obsessed with one thing: light. They were fanatics about it, how it changed from moment to moment, how it reflected off surfaces, how it created color and mood. They actually left their dark studios, went outside, and used these quick, messy, visible brushstrokes to try and catch the light as it moved. Suddenly, reality wasn't solid anymore. It was shimmering. So we've gone from painting a perfect reality to painting a fleeting feeling. But the next leap, wow, it's even bigger. This isn't just a revolution of sight, it's a revolution of the mind. Welcome to the 20th century, where artists didn't just break the rules, they shattered the whole canvas. Right as we cross into the 1900s, the pace of change just goes into overdrive. You've got new technologies, new ways of thinking, new science, and it all just fuels this massive artistic explosion. And one of the first, most powerful shockwaves from that explosion was Cubism. Okay, get ready for a bit of a mind bender. The Impressionists asked, what does this moment look like? But the Cubists, guys like Picasso and Braque, they asked a totally different, totally wild question. They asked, what if you could show not just one side of an object, but every single side of it, all at the exact same time? The Cubist approach was almost like a science experiment. You can think of it in 3 steps. Okay, step 1, you look at an object, say a guitar. Step 2, you mentally break it apart, picturing its front, its back, its sides, all simultaneously. And step 3, you put all those broken pieces back together on the flat canvas. You're not painting what a guitar looks like from one spot, you're painting the idea of a guitar.
So let's recap. The Renaissance had perspective. Impressionism had light, while Cubism's one-word concept is viewpoint. It completely smashed the idea that a painting had to show one view from one moment in time. It's art for a new, faster, more complex and fragmented modern world.
And Cubism was just the start. It basically kicked the door open. After that, the 20th century just exploded with new movements, all asking, what even is art? You got surrealism digging into our dreams, abstract art ditching reality altogether, and pop art turning soup cans into masterpieces. So after that whirlwind tour, what's the big takeaway here? Why does this whole journey, from a perfect painting of a Madonna to a shattered picture of a guitar, actually matter? Well, it's because it's all part of one single, never-ending story. This is the key to the whole thing. No art movement just appears out of nowhere. Impressionism was a rebellion against the super rigid rules that came after the Renaissance. Cubism was a reaction against the Impressionists, saying there's more to reality than just light and feelings. It's this constant conversation happening across the centuries. So if you walk away with anything from this, let it be these few things. First, art is a conversation. Second, its whole history proves that rules are made to be broken. Third, art is always a mirror, reflecting the world it was made in. And maybe most importantly, it teaches us that how you choose to see things really, really matters. Which leaves us with one last big question. We've seen the story that art told about the Renaissance, about the Impressionists, about the modern world. So what about now? What story will the art of our time, the memes, the digital stuff, the art on the street, what story will that tell people in the future? That's the story we're all a part of right now.